Hololive players. We have absolutely huge news this morning, fresh off the presses. The English Hololive official card game Twitter just announced the official restriction list for English-speaking territories. This is incredible news because one, we finally have a restriction list, and two, it is completely different from what we anticipated that we were getting. The Japanese restriction list is different from the one that we got, and we've been kind of anticipating what our ban list is going to look like based off that. We thought maybe it'd be 1-to-1, but they actually learned from that restriction list and made it customized just for us, which is incredible. I honestly didn't expect this. Let's talk about the differences and how this is going to change everything. So first of all, if we look at what the original Japanese restriction list was coming off of set 1, Blooming Radiance, going into Quintet Spectrum, they limited First Bloom Mumei, First Bloom Iris, and Debut Kanata with the collab effect. So this really nerfs Mumei Promise without really nerfing Kanata all that much. You can see based off of the Japanese tier list, Kanata going into Quintet Spectrum remains number 1, and Mumei got brought down all the way to C tier. I talk about this a lot in my tier list video that I recently dropped, and this is honestly going to be such a game changer, and I really hope that it keeps Mumei Promise as a viable deck, because getting hit on both First Bloom Iris and Mumei was so devastating. And Kanata was honestly really not that hurt at all, as you can see by the tier list here. She was really strong, and yes, this debut Kanata is incredibly strong, and it should be restricted to 1, but it really just felt like it wasn't enough. The second Bloom Kanata remained completely untouched, and that card is just so strong. Meanwhile, Mumei Promise, especially with the other cards that come to set 2, just doesn't really give her anything new to keep up after this nerf. And I think this is going to be great for the English metagame. One, Kanata won't be nearly as broken and overpowered as she is. And two, Mumei Promise will hopefully be able to find a different place within the meta in the tier list that makes her more balanced and fair without getting just completely run into the ground. I really hope that this means positive things for the English meta. So let's actually talk about it. So first, here's the actual restriction list that we're getting in English. So to maintain a fair and enjoyable gameplay environment, we periodically update the list of restricted cards. The following 3 cards will be restricted for Hololive Official Card Game English Edition. Effective date, October 17th, 2025. And that is, of course, the day that Quintet Spectrum releases. And you can see here, we have the debut Kanata still restricted to 1, First Bloom Iris still restricted to 1, but now we have, instead of First Bloom Mumei being restricted, we have the second Bloom Kanata restricted to 1. This is, oh my gosh, it's such good news. This is amazing. Of course, I hope this doesn't mean that Kanata becomes unplayable, but she's honestly so strong that I think she'll still be fine. Her game plan might be a little different, but she's still going to be really good. The reason I think this is if we look really far ahead at the Japanese meta going into like set 3 and set 4, we see the restriction list is they eventually do restrict second Bloom Kanata and unrestrict First Bloom Mumei, which is awesome because clearly they learned after time that Mumei Promise is fine the way that it basically was now with, you know, obviously Iris still remain nerfed. That card is incredibly strong, but this is learning from the future of the meta as opposed to just copying it 1-to-1. And going into that set 4, look at Kanata still super good, right? Like, even with 2 cards restricted, Kanata is one of the strongest decks out there. So really, I think that this change is going to bring so many positive things to the community and to the English meta. Let's take a closer look at this announcement. In light of the official tournament results for Hololive Official Card Game Japanese Edition, and to provide a better player experience, we've decided to add the following cards to the restriction list. So they clearly are paying attention to the meta. They're clearly listening to players, and they're making customized decisions for each region. They're not just mirroring it and localizing it. So one, I think this is huge for the game. It shows a lot of promise, no pun intended, for the future of the game outside of Japan. And I honestly just think this is such amazing news. I'm super excited going into Quintet Spectrum, even more than I ever was. It really just shows, I feel like we haven't gotten a lot of news outside of just releases about competitive hololive card game here. So seeing this really made my day, and I think this is a really great restriction list. I think that Kanata and Mumei Promise will have much better balance, and I think Mumei Promise will be able to survive a little bit more efficiently in the new meta, as opposed to just dropping in so many tiers. And Kanata is going to be less oppressive. That deck is it's just too strong, and everyone knows how strong it is. So instead of having to deal with it for multiple expansions until they finally decide to restrict Second Bloom Kanata, we're getting it right away. So I love this news. I think it's exciting. I think it's healthy for the game. I think the fact that they're adjusting the meta for us is extremely positive news. But let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing and ringing the bell so that you don't miss any of my future videos. And let me know in the comments what you think of this restriction list. Do you agree with it? Do you think it should be different? What restrictions do you maybe see coming in the future that might differ from the Japanese one going into the English meta? And just, yeah, let me know any of your thoughts that you're having. I'd love to hear them. But with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Hi, Cameron.